When did you guys get started? Like, when did...
Officially, we got started last summer. We were already kind of toying around with certain ideas. We've made some small mobile apps, individually. Like, we all had some small experience. But then we decided to kind of organize and to kind of form our own, independent game studio.
Right.
But, most of the experience we've had was, 2D games or, mobile games or things like that. This is our first big 3D project that we're working on. But usually, that once we decided to kind of make that jump, we decided to kind of, instead of just making games kind of for a hobby, just kind of organizing it and kind of making it its own,
So you got serious.
Yeah, we got serious, yeah. So we decided to reach out to some people that we knew. I reached out to a sound guy, Alex Fagan. He was really into music, but he wasn't really into the programming side. But we got him involved with, now he's the audio director. So everything we do with the voice clips, Lindsay's one of the voice actresses here for this project.
She was telling me.
But all of her recordings get sent to him. He cleans it up, and he's kind of in charge of that angle.
Gotcha.
And, everybody is kind of just using their specialties to kind of get this project up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I guess a year ago we just kind of got serious. Once we decided to kind of make a 3D game and kind of make it a, we just decided to kind of make it, since we made that jump, we decided to kind of take it a little more seriously.
Gotcha.
Now, we're still planning on making mobile games, but this is definitely the baby project. This is the big one that we're trying to do.
There you go.
I guess I should kind of do a plug for the mobile game too.
Yeah. What? Tell me about the mobile games. What mobile games have you guys made?
Well, under Dreamcatcher Game Studios, under that we haven't made anything yet. We are currently working on a zombie game called Survive. But for right now, most of the information we're gonna give is gonna be about this. But that's a little tease.
But that's coming up.
That's coming.
Okay,
yeah.
Upcoming.
And actually, I'll send you the teaser for that too.
Yeah,
please. Then you can kind of release that once we're, But yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
So as far as just making games as a hobby and talking about it and just creating and producing, how long have you guys been producing together and creating? Not even under the name, but just in general.
I'm gonna say for about together. I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's together. Now, everybody individually has been doing it at different pacings and things like that. But I'm going to say 2 to 3 years we can kind of work together. Mostly for small projects like 2D games or mobile games or things like that.
Gotcha. When you say everybody, how many people are we talking? How many people are involved in the projects?
Programming-wise or
well, who are Dreamcatcher Games? I'm just going to ask it like that. There's you, and you have a bunch of voice actors and everything, but as far as the creators and developers,
we're fairly small. We're about 10 people.
10 people.
Scenes. Yeah, they're we kind of separated into 2 different kind of teams. So we have a programming team, which kind of focuses on programming, and we also have a kind of a creative team.
Right.
So that's kind of focused on the writing, or I guess the voice acting would be considered the creative team, even though,
Yeah.
And I kind of bridge into both of those roles, kind of, you know what I mean? But, yeah, we're pretty small. We're hoping to expand, but we're trying to,
Well, so is everybody. And I'm a writer too, so if you ever need a writer.
I'll keep that in mind. We're trying to.
So how did the creating come about? Was it just collaborating between friends that had similar interests?
Yeah, it was something along those lines. We were some of us were college students, some of us kind of weren't. But we all had kind of the same interests and the same type of goals for what we were trying to do here.
Right.
And we just kind of wanted to do something that was kind of passion built. That wasn't necessarily about. The biggest problem with AAA games is that, in our opinion, the whole thing with DLCs, or it's kind of focused on money.
Right.
And you kind of lose the creative element into it. If there's anything that you can do whatever you want to do, it's with video games. You can code anything.
Yes.
And we kind of feel like creativity is kind of being lost in that. So kind of the goal for Dreamcatcher Game Studios is to kind of do things that are kind of a bit out of the box. or are passion driven. You know what I mean?
Yes,
That's kind of what we're trying to do. We don't want to kind of do just if you're looking for a game to make, we're never gonna say just a first person shooter or just this. We're trying to implement
to
ideas.
really expand and really branch out.
Exactly. We're trying to do things that's never been done before. And that's kind of what our goal is with each game, you know. So that's kind of the main focus that we had. We were trying to, maybe we were all kind of doing it kind of individually ourselves. We all, kind of collaborate together. But we felt like if we put our energies together, we can kind of make something huge, So this will be a testament to that. We'll see if it works.
It definitely looks exciting from what I saw in the trailer.
Oh, you saw the...
Yeah. I did my research.
I got to show you the updated one then, because that was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, I could tell it was a little, I don't know. Whenever you first, make something, it's always the difference between, the rough sketch and the finish.
Oh, yeah. We were, actually, that was kind of testing the textures.
Yeah.
And seeing how people would feel about the animation. That's why we showed the clip of the one guy really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was the rough draft for the,
Well, that's how any creative project works, so I get it. Yeah. What made you, decide to do the super realistic 3D animation versus,
something like cartoony.
Something cartoony, yeah.
For our game, we're kind of hitting into certain themes that we felt like were kind of mature or kind of serious.
Yes.
So, we felt like that some of the themes wouldn't be received if it wasn't as realistic.
Right.
Or if it wasn't in the realistic, if it wasn't realistic, it wouldn't be received well.
Sure.
We are, dealing with a lot of social issues and a lot of things like that in this game. That's going to be a huge part of it. So we felt like if we did it in a different style, it wouldn't be received the same way.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Excuse me, sorry.
So this is a pretty heavy game.
For sure, yeah. There's going to be a lot of heavy themes for it. We're going to be dealing with issues with race, with gender, with sexual orientation. And if it was cartoony, we feel like some of those...
It would be very...
Yeah, it wouldn't really kind of... so...
Gotcha, because there are so many different ways to go... With the way violence is portrayed in any media in America, there are so many different ways to go with it. So when I heard that the name of the game was AssassiNation, I really didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. So,
So...
A bit of a background for what the gameplay is going to be about, as much as I can say right now, is that,
so let's check. Yeah, you're good. Okay, yep.
Is that, we're kind of focusing on so it's going to be a 3D sandbox game. You're going to be in the city, and you're going to be playing in the perspective of several different assassins.
Sure.
And, you're kind of going through their journeys of what their story arcs are going through. And the gameplay is that, let's say you have a target, and you have to find, I'm going to say John Doe.
Sure.
So it's going to be done in two different modes. First is investigative mode, and then is predator mode. Investigative mode, you're in the city, and you're trying to figure out where is John Doe.
Right.
And you have different ways you can do that. You can do that through our NPCs. You can talk to anybody in the street. You can do research. You can go to the bar and try to see what's in the gossip. And then after you find information on the target, you have to find the best way to eliminate the target. So it's I'm trying to be careful with what we can and can't say. But yeah, I think that's we have like a schedule.
Yes.
Right. Everything supports a 24-hour schedule. So John Doe could be doing something at you find out that he works at 8 o'clock at some branch. So, and you have to figure this out yourself. You can figure out anyway how and once you discover that, you have to plan, how am I going to handle John Doe? Is it best to go after him while he's at work, or should I look for more information to find a better opportunity to do that?
So there's a lot of stealth and planning.
A lot of stealth. Or...
a lot of choice. Well, or you could just
it's
come
up
in and
to
just...
how you do it. But this game, a big theme in this game is definitely consequences.
Right.
So it's figuring out what's the best way. We kind of want to give the player the freedom to choose to handle the situation any way possible. So they want to try to use poison. We actually have a system in place for that. So you can have poison. So if you know that he goes to a restaurant at 5 o'clock, or he seems to go to a restaurant every day at 5 o'clock, you can poison his food. if you wanted to try to take that
Right.
approach.
And so if you just like, hello.
Hey.
Hey, welcome.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the rain caught me too.
Aw. You made it. Let me just hang on.
I only had to kill one hobo today.
I'll edit that out later. So if you were to just walk in the middle of his work and just take him out, would there be like are there police programmed in or?
Yeah, what I'll say for as far as that, there will be consequences for right now. It's not going to be necessarily a GTA type of style where it's just these drones of, I'll just say that there's consequences for every decision that you make in this game.
Wow.
So.
Just like real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close to as possible. So this is a pretty detailed game. When did the development start on it?
It actually started a bit before Dreamcatcher Game Studios kind of came together. We were trying to play around. We knew that we wanted to do a sandbox game.
Right.
Now, we were still kind of developing the story and different elements into it. We were trying to play around with certain... one thing that we wanted to do was that in a lot of sandbox games, you have NPCs just kind of just there. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to create a system where everybody is useful. So if you want to talk to this random person down the street, you can talk to them and you can have their contact information if you want. And you can use them for something. Like, they're not just there to make the city feel or look more realistic. Even though technically that's what NPCs are.
Right.
There's a use to it. There's a use for every person in the game.
There's a reason.
And that's kind of the first, I guess, the backbone of where this kind of started before we had a story and everything going. Mm-hmm. So I guess we were, I would say we was working on the mechanics of the game for about 2 years. Wow. 2 years ago. But the story didn't kind of come together until a little bit later. But we was working on the city before then.
Gotcha. What made you want to do AssassiNation specifically? Was it just like the prevalence of different assassination games in general or in the media, or was it something more personal?
Well, one of the elements in AssassiNation that we were definitely trying to go for was definitely the social, we felt like we definitely wanted to tackle certain social issues.
Sure.
Now, was your question regarding like why we were going for, why you were playing as assassins or like the story?
Well, why you're playing as assassins, because I love that you're, tackling those social issues, but why you're using an assassination game as a vehicle to tackle those issues. Would be my question.
Yeah, it's because of the system we were trying to implement. So we had a system, we were supporting a 24-hour system.
Sure.
And we feel like a lot of assassination games are kind of just kill this target.
Sure.
And we felt like we can make something a little more sophisticated than that. So once we discovered that, we were kind of building around the mechanics of the game, and we're building around the interests of our staff. So we have some people that's interested in like movies like John Wick, or things like that. Sure. So it just kind of blended slowly together into this project,
Wow.
It's like no puppies were harmed in the middle.
Right, yeah.
Makes sense. Had a thought and I lost it. So who are you in the game? Does your main character have his own story for why he or she became an assassin? Is he or she just like a general kind of everyman, everywoman, or?
Well, in the game, you're going to be playing in the perspective of different assassins.
Oh, okay. So it changes around a lot.
Yeah, so we're not going to get in depth with the story of what those assassins are, but you will be playing as different characters in the game.
So it switches.
Yeah, so you will have a choice of what player you want to play as.
Okay.
And kind of go through that.
I'm intrigued. All right. Does each NPC have their own sort of storyline or story arc? Like you mentioned, they all kind of have their own lives and schedules, but is there kind of a reason that you get these targets, or is it random? I know there's only a certain amount you can say, but
could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So you had mentioned that you wanted to kind of expand on the concept of NPCs, And so with the targets, you mentioned earlier that they all kind of have their own lives, their own routines. Does their story arc get any more developed than that? Or is it just kind of they have a schedule and you gotta track them and follow it? Or
So we do have multiple different targets in the game. So for the story mode, we do have main targets, which you will need to finish to progress to the next part of the story.
Sure.
But we have a lot of different side missions, and the side missions aren't as complex as the story missions are.
Gotcha.
So imagine that I'm just gonna say you're like some mercenary or whatever. Somebody's coming to you for a hit. That might be a side mission. Your job is to handle this hit. So the story for that one may not be as complex as a story for a main story mission. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So a little bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
a little bit of
blended.
both,
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. Like life.
Did you let her know that at least for the main stories, some of them can
overlap?
in a sense?
Can they overlap? What do you mean by that?
Like, for example, if you're doing one assassin's main story, it can overlap with another one in very separate ways.
Yeah. So they're all.
Do you mind if I film you?
Oh no, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
All the assassins, they're all in the same world, and these stories are going to overlap together.
Gotcha.
So you're kind of, with each assassin that you're playing as, you're kind of playing as a puzzle to the whole piece of the game.
Oh.
So in order to understand the full story of Assassination, you have to play as all the assassins to kind of get the full picture. But each one's going to provide a different perspective for
Wow.
that you're playing as.
So this must be hours and hours of gameplay.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely going to be hours of gameplay.
This is a really epic project.
But I say it depends on I guess your take on how you want to play the game.
Sure.
Because again, it's just like life. There's no set way to do things. Although, like I said, if you want to get the full picture, like you said, do the whole story. Personally, I'm going to get the game. I know I have family who's going to get the game. I want to try it out myself. I want to hear my voice.
Of course.
I always tell people, if you're ever gonna find me in something, you have to listen very, very carefully. So that's a game in itself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you had mentioned earlier, previous conversation, that you're one of the main characters, and you do several background characters for the game.
Yes. So am I allowed to say, or just that, just one of the main characters, and then the rest are kind of like sprinkled everywhere.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I could be on the side of good. I could be on the side of evil. I could be. What are you?
So we really have to listen for your voice.
Yes.
Yes.
And go. TVs and radios are your best friend. That's another thing.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Okay. Are we allowed to know the name of your main character that you voice, or
The main character is David.
I can.
Yeah.
Can you tell us? Okay.
Her name is Gretchen.
Her name is Gretchen.
And I enjoyed playing her because she's down to earth.
Right.
But she has this quirky side. She has this funny side, and she's between I'm gonna be the perfect wife to I'm the working woman. Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
But oh my goodness, and
That's complicated. She has a family and everything.
it's like that perfect life.
Yeah.
And then the idea of ignorance is bliss. I'll say that. Ignorance is bliss. But then when you start to seek out the truth, it can hurt. It's like, oh my gosh, why? But then hopefully people love her. If they can identify with her, then I've done my job correctly.
I think they will too.
Especially one particular scene that you know I had.
I already had it in mind.
I was like, oh, I didn't expect to say that, but okay.
It's so exciting. So wow. My head is going off with like so many possibilities right now.
I mean,
So these assassins, they come from all walks of life. It's not just your typical like standalone man in a corner with a giant gun sniper type of guy. It's like everybody.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different personalities in this game. So there should be an assassin that should fit your playstyle for sure. If
Sure.
if you want to play any type of way, there's an assassin for you. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then some people, like I said, I'll be on the side of good and bad in this one. I think it's really funny. Because normally in some games,
Yeah.
you don't, like, you definitely know who is good and who is bad. But then in this, it can be just like real life. Anyone has a choice to make, and, based off your choices, you can make mistakes. People make mistakes all the time. And then, you have people that you love, people that you care about, people that you want to protect. And then sometimes that can just get tossed out the window. I know one particular character, he has a conflict, multiple conflicts if anything. It's with himself, it's with, other people,
Right.
and then it's his mission in life in general. And it's just, it's so complex. I love it.
Wow. The more you say, the more excited I get.
It's like, December, why aren't you here yet? He's like, because we're in the middle of summer.
Do the assassins kind of do they ever, you said they overlap, but do the assassins themselves ever interact with each other throughout the game, like the main story mode? Or
yes.
So?
Yeah.
So they're laughing.
Yeah. So, yeah,
In a big way!
they do. So you're asking if they directly overlap with each other?
Do they ever, yeah, kind of. Do they ever, like, interact, even if it's just, like, kind of seeing one in, like, the glimpse of another storyline, or?
Yeah, so they do overlap in that way.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Trying to be careful with
Yeah,
how
Is
but
there... I mean, I guess in a way, since it's assassination, the player would be good and bad, like Lindsay said.
a lot of gray characters.
A lot of gray characters. But is there kind of a big bad within the game itself that you're sort of struggling against, or is it just...
So I'm gonna be careful with how I say it. So, because the biggest thing we're trying to do for the story is definitely try to make a character full of gray characters that are all gray.
Yes.
So there's no mustache twirling villain in here necessarily.
Sure.
Everybody has their own.
Nobody on the front of a white cat, no.
Right. Yeah.
Right,
everybody has their own motives, and you can even there's a lot of gray characters. Some darker than others.
Are all the assassins...
Yeah.
Are all the assassins... They all have mustaches, that's the secret.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying
They all
to
just
say.
skip
They all...
through
they're
there.
all-
Just twirling.
That's right. Are these all independent contractors, or are some working for an organization, or are they all kind of self-starters?
So there's a mix of what you said. So there's some that are self-starters. There's some that is working for a larger organization. There's multiple. Yeah, it depends on the assassin you're playing, but it's a little bit of all the above.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Do you... I don't know if you're allowed to say, but do you yourself have a favorite assassin?
Oh yes,
Okay.
I definitely do.
Are you allowed to say?
No, I don't want to give any information, like specific information for the assassins yet. But actually, my favorite assassin is he wears a gas mask.
He wears a gas mask?
Yeah, so that'll be the extent for right now. But if you guys follow us,
Got you.
you'll be able to piece together with one. Yeah.
I can literally just do this.
But we'll have more information on the assassins soon, and then from that, you guys will figure out which one is my favorite one.
Okay. More suspense, more excitement. What inspired the characters' storylines? Because it sounds like a very story-driven game. I mean, gameplay is obviously the biggest thing because, it's a game, but, so what inspired the stories, I suppose?
So they're all based off of classic novels, just kind of reimagined in this setting. So that's kind of what kind of inspired each of their stories. So some things, like one person's story is kind of loosely based off of Moby Dick. So just like Ahab was going after the white whale, this character is going after their own white whale.
Right.
In their own, So it's not necessarily a retelling of these classic novels, but it's loosely inspired by these novels, and it's reimagined.
The archetypes of.
Right. So it's going to share a lot of themes that these classic novels share, but it's still its own story. That's.
Yes.
You have to play to find out.
I mean, unless you're really good at reading and you can pick up on these stories and be like, I've read that before, and then like kind of try and piece together, be like, I don't know, like I said, with Moby Dick, I've only read like sections and chapters of the book, but basically the gist is, Arg, I have to kill the white whale, and be like, why? Why? It's a whale, calm down. But then ultimately, because this is it's a loose interpretation for some of these stories, it's like, you gotta be really smart with this.
Makes sense. I noticed scrolling through your guys' Dreamcatcher Studios Facebook page, you have a lot of literary-based games and content. Like, I saw something about Oscar Wilde in there. I saw a Melville game.
Yeah, so those are teases is what what inspired some of the characters in these games. We've been kind of teasing out what elements might be in the game. We will be releasing a gameplay demo really soon, but for right now, we're just kind of letting people speculate as to what could be in this game.
Would you be able to say how soon the gameplay demo?
No, I'm not going to pressure
the
programmer. No,
don't
when it
do
gets
it
done. Yeah,
the
I'm not going to
programmers
push
will hunt you
them,
down.
It will. What I will say is it should be soon. So, and I'll make sure that you know when it is, so that you can get the first scoop of it.
Okay.
But it will be soon, though.
I'll keep my ears out for sure. I'll be looking for your email. So, what? How'd you guys find Lindsay?
So Lindsay was during while we was searching for voice acting, for voice actors, around the same time we started using the UMBC AV lab for, the media lab for this, we decided to kind of look for college students that may be motivated to do some voice acting. We tried different ways to try to find voice actors, but we wanted to find, since we were using this already in the campus, we felt like it would be convenient to find motivated students that would be interested in doing this. We definitely wanted to find people that were trying to get into the field of voice acting. So we were looking for people that maybe they need more experience, or they're just kind of finding that entry-level way into voice acting,
Yeah.
So we did a campaign at the campus, and Lindsay was one of the people that responded, and we were super glad that she did.
It was actually kind of funny because it was just a regular day of classes, and I had gotten here early, and it was actually in the Performing Arts building. I was walking on the second floor, and I actually walked past their promotional flyer, and I had to do a double take, so I had to go back. I was like, wait a minute, I see voice acting. And I basically, I didn't want to take the paper, so I just had to take a screenshot of it. And then I was like, let me email these people tonight because this sounds interesting. So that was, it's been like, it's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yes.
And for like, when it comes down to voice acting, people like, I realize it's about knowing, like getting to know your characters. And then having, like, I could say the characters that I've done so far will always be with me. Like, they're always going to be in there. And it's like, oh, now they're just going to argue with each other in my head. But, like I said, it's an entryway for a lot of people. This is definitely added to my repertoire, which is good. Getting the experience, building it up. And like I said, if anyone wants to, see more of my journey, there's my Facebook page. I can give that to you, and then my cosplay page, because I also cosplay. So,
yes.
like, a lot of people trying to have like be a jack of many trades, and that's like kind of what I do. And cosplaying, voice acting,
All the culture.
yeah.
All the culture. There you go. I'll definitely get that from you. What else? Let's see.